Hi everyone, welcome to this week's garden update where I'll show you a container that I've planted up, some seeds that I've sown, and I'll show you around the fan garden, which is probably not looking the way you expect it to be. So please just sit back for a few minutes and let's get into it now. I'm starting off today over here just outside the raised garden bed area where I did a bit of work during the week clearing out some of the dead plants that were in this section. I've just left one of the Rebecca's. There's some little shoots there which are the Shasta daisy, and then there's actually quite a lot of grass that still needs to be cleared out. But pleasingly, when I was in here, I noticed that I had lots of shoots here from Dutch irises, which if you follow me along for a while, you know that I get a lovely display in this section in springtime. I also noticed that my globe artichoke is starting to shoot back again. I'm feeling pretty lazy because I still haven't cut off the old flowers from summertime. And then another little surprise that I found over in this section was a lovely big clump of foxgloves. In this area there's a huge apple tree that went in about 12 years ago, and something that I really love about it is that it drops its leaves down here and it kind of takes care of itself, the soil, because all the leaves fall, eventually breaking down, creating a lovely layer of mulch for next season's plants. Something else I managed to do this week was pot up this old fire pit. I found this being thrown out at one of our council pickups, and I really love the rustic look of it, the way it's just faded here and all the paint starting to come off. Anyway, let's go through what I put inside. At the back row I have some sweet peas. The next row here are some stock, so I'm trying to stagger the height. The sweet peas will get to about 1.6 meters. The stock, which I did buy as seedlings, is just here. Gorgeous selection of colours there. They reach up to 30 to 50 centimeters in height. And then as a bit of a spiller on the edge, I have these Johnny Jump Violas. With the sweet peas in the back row, they'll need some kind of structure to hang on to as they climb up. And I actually ended up taking this back out of storage, as you'd say. This is my DIY upcycled little project as a trellis. It is made out of an old fly screen frame. I'll take a step back and then you can see for the pieces going across, that's actually made up of an old hose which had quite a lot of holes in it, but I didn't want to throw it out, so I just threaded some wire through it, attached it to both sides, and I think it looks kind of nice. Bit unusual, you know, suits my cottage style garden. In this greenhouse that I have mounted up against the house, I have a few things going on in here, like this big tray of Nigella. I got all of these baby plants from that big patch that had volunteered that I noticed last week. I just dug a few of them up, popped them in here. Some of them aren't doing as well, which is to be expected, but others are still looking quite healthy. And even if I just get half the amount in here that I'm able to put out around the garden, I'll be happy with that. In this tray, I have a few dill plants, which similarly to the Nigella that I just found around the garden, I have a lot of dill seedlings everywhere, so I dug these up too. Most of them are doing okay. This one's looking a little bit floppy, but I reckon it will bounce back. I'll just pop them in there, and let's go down to the next shelf where I've actually sowed some seeds for spring. I may be a bit over enthusiastic about all of these. I don't know if they'll definitely germinate because we are in the middle of winter here now. It has been getting quite cold, and I'm just, you know, I'm not super hopeful for them, but I thought I might as well give them a shot. This area is a little microclimate. It is in the greenhouse, and I think, you know, they might have a chance of growing, and if they don't, that's okay. I can try again in a few weeks time when it starts to warm up. So in here I have some Dame's Violet, foxgloves, orange cauliflower, lacy Phacelia at the back, and then lots of different types of poppies and other little spring flowers like calendula and Queen Anne's lace. I'm now standing at the very back of our property and you're looking at the fan garden, which is looking very empty, probably not what you expected, because a few weeks ago I did put in a lot of brassicas and cauliflowers, but you know what's after happening? A lot of those plants have died on me. They were dug out by the chickens, attacked by pests, and I really, if I'm honest with myself, I don't think my heart was in it to take care of them the way I should have, and they were neglected, and this is the consequence of them. When they are little small plants and seedlings, you do really need to give them attention. There's only a few things in here that are doing okay, pretty dismal looking. I have a few garlic plants, the lemongrass patch, and a few hollyhocks plants which I popped in the ground back in summertime. These ones are called the Watcher, and they have actually clumped up quite a bit. I think probably in spring, late spring, I will be getting some of these beautiful dark flowers, kind of wine looking flowers. Let me see how tall these plants reach. Up to 1.5 meters. Down here is the pineapple sage, which I cut back. And when I was doing it, I was quite interesting because I noticed that some of the stems that were touching the ground, like this one here, had actually started to root. I don't want to pull it out yet, but you can see there, it's got some roots on it, which is kind of cool. So I might wait for that to establish a bit more and then chop it off here and here, dig this section up, transplant it somewhere else in the garden, and I've got a free plant. I finally got around to looking after this, which is the cotton plant. I ended up giving it a really hard chop back. I don't know if I've done it correctly. I hope I have. But you know, what have I got to lose? Nothing. It was either doing this or just digging the whole thing out and killing it anyway. So let's see what happens. It may grow back in spring, as some of you have said to me. Thank you for all your advice with this plant. It is disappointing that I won't have any cotton harvest this year, but you never know, it could happen next year. At the back here we have another orange tree, which usually only produces a handful of oranges that are quite small, but this year they have done incredibly well. They're quite large, not ready to pick yet, although some of them have fallen down and maybe the chickens pecking at the foliage, but you can see there's quite a lot in there, and I'm pleased with that. I consider that a success, even though I didn't really do that much to it. The other thing I do need to do is just pick off the last of these cucamelons that are hanging on the dying vine, and then I will just cut it all back, clear this all up and get it ready for next season's planting. I can't get over the amount of buds on this wattle tree. It's so exciting. It won't be long until it's all in flower. Well, I'm going to head off for this week. There wasn't a whole lot going on. I hope you enjoyed taking a look around with me, seeing what I've been up to, and I will see you all again next Friday.